protests that quickly sweep across a nation, accusations of a government that does not listen to its people, police who are accused of using excessive force. Sound familiar? To help you understand what's going on in Turkey and how it's different from the Arab Spring and why you should care, we're joined in our Explain This to Me segment by Richard Haass. He's the president of the Council on Foreign Relations and the author of Foreign Policy Begins at Home, the case for putting America's house in order. Richard, thanks so much for joining me. So explain this to me. Why should Americans sitting at home care about what happens in Turkey? How could this unrest impact us?
Turkey actually is a pivotal country, Jake. It's about 80 million people. It's got a fairly large economy, some say about the 17th largest in the world. It's a NATO ally, so we have all sorts of obligations. It borders on Syria, so for better or for worse, it can both affect and be affected by the crisis there. Perhaps as much as anything, though, Turkey has become something of an example or a model for the sort of political events you alluded to in the Arab world over the last couple of years. So how goes Turkey could have a big impact on the political trajectory of the entire Middle East.
I want to play something that Turkish Prime Minister Erdogan said about the causes of these protests, if we have that sound ready.
If we'd put aside people who joined this protest with their naive emotional feelings after the social media calls, extreme elements organized these protests, and unluckily, people joined it.
Are these extreme elements? You met with Erdogan while you were there. Calling the protesters extremists doesn't seem like it would help the situation.
Probably not, and also using force in some ways doesn't help, because then you set off a cycle of action and reaction. No, if it wasn't caused by this plan to bulldoze this park and build a shopping mall, it would have been caused by something else. What you have is essentially a large group of Turks who feel alienated from this government that's been in power for 10 years. It's increasingly a one-party country. All the politics really happen just within it. The opposition is weak, divided, really feckless. So you have a lot of people in Turkey who feel both alienated and intimidated by the government, and this was the way they decided to push back.
I know there's no way to poll the people protesting in the street, but what's your impression of who they are? Are they young people who want more democracy, more openness? Are they people who want a more religious government? Who are they, do you think?
Turkey is, to some extent, a democracy, though it's a little bit top-heavy. What I think the people in the streets are, mainly young, as you say, quite secular. Many of them went to great lengths to be seen, visibly drinking beer, to show that they distance themselves from some of the drift towards a greater role for Islam. That's essentially what they represent. It's a minority in the sense that probably half the country voted for the party. But what you have is a large number of Turks, whether in the business world, obviously in the military, in the media, who are feeling that this government is not only not responsive to them, but is trying to consolidate power and to bring about a Turkey that really isn't that comfortable with the West or with secularism or with a kind of real liberal democracy.
All right, Richard Haass of the Council on Foreign Relations, thank you so much.
Thanks, Jake.